Hi YouTube, it's a musical Livery here. We have a viewer request to fly the JustFlight Tomahawk, which is what we're doing today. Now we, of course, continuing our tour out of where we last left it off, here in Mackay. Avatar's decided that walking in a straight line is too hard, so he's just not gonna. I'm asking him to turn in the opposite direction of that. Fine. So, Wednesday. I did some overtime today, worked for 10 hours and caught the pack train back at 5 PM. Hi there, Owen. How you doing? So I've been home for a grand total of about 30 minutes, haven't had any dinner, and yeah, kind of feeling a little bit warm in all the wrong places. Bottom of my feet, elbows, across the top of my neck. Anyhow, should be fun flying the Tomahawk. I saw that Frugal has put out a video about this Tomahawk in X-Plane, same product, and haven't gotten to see it yet. My dad's going to be crippled next tomorrow. He's going in to have a operation on his knee, so he'll be hanging in bed for a few weeks. And he won't be coming to visit me on Christmas, so I'll probably end up doing a stream on Christmas Day. I'm thinking we might take the 747 down to Antarctica. Of course, next time we'll be flying will be Sunday, our time, some god-awful hour of the morning, to do Fly and See Santa up at Helsinki to Rovaniemi. Boeing 737. Guy just randomly wanted to do a circle. I've not bought the A330 yet. Won't have a chance to fly it until after I get my car registered. And I thought I'd save the money for that. That'll be happening on Saturday. So Saturday is I get my car registered, go around Paw for a few days, and I'll buy it next Thursday. Not tomorrow, but the week after. Because I'll get paid. And getting paid is useful when you want to buy things. Yeah. Run up there. So here we are with this short guy. That's a rather tall T-tail. I know this avatar's about 5'10"-ish. So if you're taller than 5'10", even, yeah, that tail is quite tall. Haven't actually flown a Piper Tomahawk in real world, so it will be quite fun to see what we have here. As usual, we stand on the wing to get on in. There are actually two doors on this aeroplane, which is quite a luxury for a Piper. Normally you'd only have that right door. But here we are, two doors, two seats, two doors. Nothing in the back there. Let's jump on board. Really? Why is he here? Cool. Alright, so there's the flap handle. Works like any Piper. So no loose articles on this surface, otherwise they'll fall into the flap handle and you won't be able to use the flaps. Alright, do a quick walk around of the aeroplane. Same as usual. Oops. Just ran into the aeroplane. So, there's some flaps. They're working. Wheels are okay. Grab the old aileron. Pitot probe, which is over there. Pitot. It's probably a fuel drain somewhere closer into here. There we go. There's the fuel. We actually have about half tanks at the moment. The aeroplane with full tanks will fly for about 400 miles. We'll be flying at about 90, maybe 100 miles. So half tanks, I guess it's about 200-mile range. We could fly there and back again. And yeah, looking good. I'm guessing you don't grab the elevator like you do on the Pipers because it's a little bit high. I think you better check the trim tabs up the top there. Anyway, we'll jump back on in. As I said, just 2 seats on this airplane. There's no positions in the back. Maximum bags 100 pounds. And a bunch of stuff about load distribution. Basically want to load this airplane as forward as possible. Come on. Cool. Ah, that's the lock. Cool. Right, there's the door. Closed, and then you lock it like that. Once again, we do have openable windows. Standard Piper stuff. Alrighty. Yeah, where is Tim going to sit? In the back? On someone's knee. Cool. So we're going to use the left tank to start the aeroplane. They do have this big checklist system here. So pre-flight, park and brake set. Avionics. Mixture is idle. Magnetos are off. Check quantity in the fuel tanks. Oh, that's a bit bright. There we go. So fuel tanks. Where's the gauges for them? It's not quite familiar with the aeroplane. Oh, they're there. Right next to the tanks themselves. They're over 10 gallons in each. Alternator warning light is on. Flaps are good. I'll bring them back up again. Flight controls. Okay, flight controls are good. Trim, set neutral. trims down here. Neutral set. Flaps another one checked. Wing tip lights, they're undamaged. Tie down is removed. Fuel tanks checked. Chocks are removed. Tow bars removed. Oil and all that stuff. There we go. Next. Landing light, fin, rudder, stabilizer. Okay, before start, brakes are set. Circuit breakers are in. Carburetor heat is off. Avionics off as they can be. Cool. Fuel selector is on the left. Throttle 1/4 inch. Master switch is in. Magnetors are set to both. Fuel pump is on. It's down there. Got it. Anti-collar's in. Clear prop. Maybe I can start it. That would help. Squawking 7,000. Thousand RPM. There we are. Alternator is on. Let's open up some of these air vents as well. Cool, that's ready to go. That's meant to set that one. No idea why it's not. I'm wondering what I'm missing up here. So I'm getting no lights on the comm. Just these. There we are. Good stuff. Alrighty, the Tomahawk. We'll be taxiing this out to the... which one are we going after? Meta YBMK. So the Meta showing 09011. Which gives us runway 14. Sitting on the western apron, we'll be taxiing out by Hotel Juliet, backtracking runway 14 and getting airborne. Left downwind departure. Once we get airborne, we'll be tracking out via Black Mountain, Mount Blackwood, and then all the way straight up to, what is it called, Callan, following the highway along past Lakeside Airfield, which we might just do won't do a touch and go or anything like that, we'll just fly over it. Track towards Proserpine. We might actually stay outside of the like 10-mile radius of Proserpine, 1,500 feet or so, just off the coastline, and then track towards Cow Island, and then we'll pop up towards Hamilton Island. Probably come across oblique from Cow Island, straight over the runway and into a runway 14 circuit on the left side. We don't need to go particularly high today. 3,500 is the maximum that we've filed. We have 4,500 CLL, so staying at 3.5 or even 2.5 because it is westbound. So 2,500 until we hit Proserpine, and we'll probably descend down to 1,500. We'll track inbound via the CTAF at Hamilton Island. CTAF frequencies 12785. If anyone else wants a demonstration, we can have a look at some stalls, maybe even a spin. This aeroplane apparently has some really annoying spin characteristics, so something to watch out for. We are packed into the utility phase, so that's not a problem. We've got no bags essentially, and yeah, don't spin it too hard because those wing spars are a problem. They had to ground the fleet of these back in the 1990s because they had some issues with the wing spars being too weak for certain types of spins. No autopilot in the aeroplane at all, and there's Hamilton Island on the button. So it's just a VFR flight. There's no reason to put anything into the GPS or just fly it by sight. Flight time today is around an hour, so let's get going. Yeah, dodgy as heck. These aeroplanes, when you stall them, because of the way the elevator is positioned on top of the wing, you don't get the authority, like you don't get pitch authority. And the reason that happens is because, well, on a Piper Cherokee or a Cessna 172, the elevator is sitting in the prop wash, whereas on these aeroplanes it's right up the top of the tail. And the other issue is once you start the stall, the disturbed airflow from the top of the wings blocks out your elevator. So you might even push full forward, and good luck, basically. The only thing that'll save you is the fact that you've loaded the aircraft fully forward. That's why they don't put any seats in the back, because if they had someone sitting in the back, you're not going to get out of that stall. It's just going to flat spiral to the ground. So yeah, stalls are a bit touchy on these aeroplanes. That's what I've heard anyway. They'll bite you if you mistreat them. It's one of the reasons they've called it the Tomahawk. It'll give you some trauma. Okay, we're going to enter taxiway Juliet, the former runway. We'll do some run-ups on this side of the taxiway. Yeah, it's not the stall that'll get you. It will be this sudden stop at the bottom, but the fact that you can't change where you're going after it starts stalling is one of the big problems. Cool. The other thing is that this aeroplane is quite a weak engined aeroplane. It doesn't really want to accelerate very fast. So we'll be climbing at about 75, 80 knots. And in the cruise it'll be lucky to get more than 100 knots. Alright, coming to a stop here to do our run-ups. Parking brake is set. Happy with that. Cool, let's go full. 15, 16, 17, 18. There we go. And checking magneto left. Good 100 RPM. And the right side. Good. Trying to grab that carby heat. 25-ish. Ah, there it is. Nice 50. Done. And drop it. That should settle at about 650. Yes, it does. Back up to 1,000. Just got to lean it out for the taxi. Yeah, that looks good. Standard pipe affair, we're taxiing out with the left tank. We're going to stay on the left tank until, what's the time now, 20 past, so we'll stay there for another 20 minutes. Yeah, till 40 past, then we'll switch tanks. Essentially we're using the same tank that we did the run up on for the takeoff, because we know that one's working. And we've been drawing fuel out of that tank, so if we got water or some kind of problem in that fuel tank, it should make itself known during that run up. So now we know that tank's working, we'll take off with it, we'll get some altitude, and we won't play around with the tanks until above 2,000 feet. Okay, door into the runway. I'm going to turn on some lights. Lights are on. And we want to be on the right frequency, which is that. Traffic Mackay. Uniform Foxtrot Alpha, Papa Tomahawk, entering runway 14, backtrack. Traffic Mackay. And we've entered the runway. No aircraft on the approaches for either run. Flaps are up. Airbags are on, taxi area is clear, parking brakes released, throttle's good. The ground check has been completed. Forced takeoff, master switch is on, magneto set to both, flight instruments are checked. I'm going to check the compass. Carburetor heat is off, mixture is not yet set, but we'll do it once we do this turnaround. Flaps are up, and the trim is neutral. And let's check the doors. My door's closed and locked. Both doors closed and locked. Okay, compass is shown 320, and that occurs on the side there. Continuum's cockpit, yes, we are flying the Tomahawk today. Can't believe it, they built this airplane in the late 70s as a result of I think a consortium of flight instructors that wanted specific characteristics to train pilots. So this is essentially a built up from the ground training airplane, unlike the Cessna 172, which is essentially a light utility airplane. So a Cessna 172 was designed to be, you know, a private airplane that you own and carry your family around with into little airports, whereas this is designed to train pilots on. And also designed to kill pilots when they try to stall the thing. Hi there, Casinium. Yeah, not too bad. I've never flown one of these before, never flown in one as a passenger before. I don't think I've even rented an aeroplane from a company that even owned one. Good on that one. But yeah, the good old Tomahawk. Things are alright. Got coming close to Christmas. Got a few budgetary issues of my own. Well, essentially I've got my rego due for my car. Got to go to the dentist on Friday. So by the time the weekend hits, I'll have no money left. Then I'll survive 3 or 4 days of the week without any money. Some money, not much. And then on Thursday we can buy that A330. Dad's going into hospital tomorrow. He's getting a knee operation, so it's all happening. All the annoying stuff is happening. Traffic Mackay, Uniform Foxtrot Alpha, lining up runway 14 departure downwind. Okay, we have full mixture. Fuel pump is on. Flaps are up, and we're ready to go. We're rolling. There's 60 knots. 70. Looking for 75 on the way up. There it is. It's amazing how much right rudder I've got in there. It's significant. It's not neutral at all. Like the Piper Cherokee from air to air, once you get it airborne, give it about 2 or 3 minutes and you kind of like reduce the amount of right rudder you get. This thing, nah. Full boot of right rudder. It's almost worth looking into investing in a rudder trim. Alright, there's 500. Looking back. Well, given you can see backwards pretty well. Okay, time 26. And I'll start the timer from a beam to runway. Because I think that's the way I planned it. There's 1,000 feet. I'll stay there for a bit. Accelerate. That's roughly the downwind. Traffic Mackay, Uniform Foxtrot Alpha, turning downwind of runway 14, departing the downwind. There we go. Quick squeeze up where we're going. Okay. Shooting out that way towards Black Mountain. It should be that there. So we're just going to stay, yeah, pretty much in the direction we go. And we might even continue that climb up to 15. I want to be even because we are slightly westbound, so I'm going to continue that climb to 2,500. 80 knots cruise climb. Love the bridge. That's very distinctive. Alright, so it's your standard fare as far as general aviation light singles are concerned. Cessna 152 kind of speeds. So if you take all these speeds that you remember from Cessna 152, because I've never flown a Tomahawk before in my life. To be honest, I've never flown a 172 in my life, but I have flown 172s. So I've never flown a 152 in my life, but I have flown a 172, many of them. So I'm just going to fly like a 172 or a Piper Archer. To be honest, Piper Archer's ever so slightly faster, so it's closer to 172 than an Archer. Now I'm going to get up to 2,500. We'll need to stay below this cloud because we are properly VFR today. I know I've got this whiz-bang GTN 650, but we're not really using it that much. I mean, I'll use it as a reference in my airspace because that's useful. So we haven't plugged in the flight plan or anything like that. The aeroplane doesn't have an autopilot, so there's no real point having a flight plan plugged into it at all. It's not like you can go into nav and follow the magenta line around. Can't even throw a heading in. Just stick and rudder. Right, I'm going to go to maximum throttle, get some speed going, even though it's a Tomahawk and it can't really do that. We're going to reduce the amount of mixture. Once again, we don't have any EGT gauges or anything like that, so just going to keep an eye on the RPM. Going to keep on reducing the amount of mixture we have until the RPM starts spluttering at us, and then we're going to give it back a little bit. Yeah, we're actually speeding up pretty well. That's probably true. The GTN is probably worth, you know, as much as a second-hand Tomahawk. The downside of flying in Australia is you need to have ADS-B out, and sometimes the cheapest way of getting ADS-B out is throwing a GTN in there. Another option would be, instead of a GTN 650 like we have there, would be to use what's that other? There's another type of GPS which is actually a portable one, something 600. GTX 600, something like that. I've seen them before. Mark Lewis putting in the good request for the liveries. Yeah, Virgin Australia and Qantas, they're the two biggies that I would want. And perhaps some American, maybe Delta. I don't even know what liveries they have, but probably Delta and another one, probably one of the European liveries as well. Wouldn't have get us across the pond through. Alright, a little bit too far out, Black Mountain, but I reckon that's Black Mountain there. You know, the black one. And Mount Blackwood up there. So with Mount Blackwood we want to probably stick just a little bit to the east, northeast of Mount Blackwood. Mount Blackwood should be fairly easy to spot because it should have radio and TV masts on it. Air Canada, yep, that's a good call. You like Air Canada. Still haven't finished reducing my mixture. That feels about right. Yeah, it's definitely there. Cool, we're back. Trying to figure out my trim. Seems to be pulling out that way a bit. Yeah, I know why, because of rudder. There we go. It's just going to be one of these days where I can't take my feet off the rudders at all. Yeah, good old Air Transat A330s. You got to open that cross feed. Just leave it open until there's no fuel left. And that one's Mount Blackwood right there, the one that's just covered up by our door frame. So we'll continue straight ahead. Okay, from Mount Blackwood we're going to keep on continuing along towards Kalen. I'm going to head almost directly west. Ever so slightly north of west. And another big cloud up here, but I think it looks clear beyond that cloud, so with any luck, once we get there, we can climb up to 4,500 and maybe do some stall handling in the Tomahawk. See what it does when it bites us. Ideally this flight will take around an hour from takeoff. Takeoff is at time 20, so 8:20, and then we'll be on the ground at about 8:30, shutting it down. Then I'll go to bed. Normal day tomorrow, big day on Friday, and an even bigger day on Saturday because I'm registering my car. So I'll be very poor. Then on Sunday I'm flying and seeing Santa at 4 in the morning. And we also have Cross the Ditch. Might cross the ditch in the Airbus. Didn't there used to be a, was it Singapore Airlines or one of those, Cathay or Singer, that used to fly Wellington to Canberra? I think they currently fly Auckland to Canberra, but there was the time in the past where I used to do Wellington to Canberra. Someone did that, capital to capital. I'm seeing a news article about it. And then I saw another news article saying that they'd cancelled that because, you know, there wasn't any money. Yep, I've pretty much got a vanilla P prepared install. I do have Tomato installed, and I've used Tomato Shade to create some profiles for the Mad Dog MD-80, particularly the American Airlines one. But apart from that, I just, yeah, not something I'm particularly that into. Reflectors textures are great. I don't want a reflective Piper Tomahawk from 1975. There's a lot of things that these airplanes are, but new is not one. This is and should look like a beat up old 1970s Piper Tomahawk that's trained lots of pilots, been upside down far too many times, you know. There's Mount Blackwood. And once we pass Blackwood we can kind of turn ever so slightly left. Black cowling up the front. Yeah, that makes sense. Of course, all the 172s and Piper Cherokees and Archers I've ever flown are all white up the front there, apart from one. One was green, which is okay. That black cowling thing, that's the reason why all the Airbus A350s and 787s have got the weird, what we call the eyeliner look around the cockpit windows. Ideally it's to cut back on any glare. Whether it actually does that or not, who knows? Probably does a bit. Yeah, let's pull that back down to about 24.5. Good stuff. I love it. Adjusting mixture by sound. So it's like pull it back, listen to it increase, and then decrease again. So you push it back the way it came until it's back at its highest RPM. I'm going to go around this cloud, which is clearly slightly below us. Pity we don't have those amazingly clear skies that we had out in the outback of Queensland on Sunday. It's a bit cloudy now. I'm almost gotten used to the idea of holding my feet on the pedals. They're just sitting there. Back in the car by sound. Yeah, it's a bit late when you hit something. I've been driving, I don't know how many years now I had a driver's license for. 98, yeah, about 20 years. I've had a driver's license for 20 years and I've only ever had one slight small accident, and that was backing into a tree. Good old classic. Never written off the car, never actually had a crash on the road. Only in a car park. At about 3 kilometers an hour. I think that's pretty good. That didn't disconnect me from the network. That's us in the Brisbane Centre, 135.6. No need to talk to them, but we'll just listen. I don't know, I've known people who have rolled their car upside down, had to be rescued by the jaws of life. That was an interesting phone call when I learned about that. And yeah, personally, never crashed. Which I like, because it's cheaper to own a car when you don't crash it. I need to adjust my rudder position. There. Yeah, it feels a little bit scud runny today, doesn't it? We're sitting here, well, so we're nearly at 3,000 feet, so we'll go back down to 2.5. and stay there. At least we're not sitting at 1,000 feet with the cloud like nearly touching us, so not too bad. Not sure about getting enough altitude to do a proper stall. We could go out there with the cloud, but then we're over water. And I don't want to, you know, put a plane into a spin into the water. That's not really a thing that I like to do. .26 degrees, density altitude 4,000. Alright, Lakeside Airport. Nothing happening there. And then for operations in this area, use the CTAF 126.7. Will that be the Proserpine Multicom? Here it is. Cool. Switch it over. I don't drive as much as I used to be honest. When I used to live in Sydney, there was basically, you could drive or you could, you know, good luck. Get out of San Susie, catch a bus to catch a train to catch another train. It's quite common. Or you could just jump in your car and go. Yeah, it's almost time to, in fact it is time. Let's do it. Let's switch it over. Fuel pump is on. There goes the right tank. Waiting for a few minutes. Just starting to feel it pull a little bit off to the right. So it's like, yeah, it's time to lighten the load on the right side. And fuel pump off. Lakeside. Traffic Lakeside. Uniform Foxtrot Alpha is a Piper Tomahawk at 2,500 from the south of the airfield. We'll be tracking overhead and continuing on towards Proserpine. Traffic Lakeside. I do wonder what that thing is, and is it a GoPro mount? Just a question there. Is that a GoPro mount? It looks like one. Funny thing was, one time I was flying Hotel Tango Mike, the real one, and back in those days I used to mount the Magicam on my headset. And then one day I was just looking up here and found a GoPro mount sitting there. So I didn't put that there, but I'm going to use it. It's like, yep, take it off the headset and chuck it on that. One of those kind of sticky ones that look a lot like that. flight, we'll burn down the fuel on this one until we're just under 5, and then we'll switch back and then land on the other tank. Yeah, we have about 2.5 hours of fuel on board, or we did when we took off. Flight time should be around an hour. Should be there in about 20-25 minutes or so, and then we'll land in Hamilton Island. Probably won't get to do a VFR flight on Sunday, so I'll be at Hamilton Island for the whole week until next Wednesday probably. And the intention is to take off from next Wednesday, also in this aeroplane, and head up to Townsville. And from Townsville we head up to Mareeba before we come into Cairns. From Cairns we definitely need another aeroplane. It needs to be a bit quicker because we're going to go Cairns all the way up to Lockheed River in one head. Not sure what that aeroplane will be yet. Might be the 182. So I might throw in a poll in a couple of weeks just to ask what everyone else wants to fly. Well, I can't see any airfield there. There's the lake. Okay, I'm seeing a nice wide area with no cloud over here. I think it's time to do the stall. I'm going to go ahead and climb up to 4,500, then we'll do a stall. Recover from the stall, climb back up to 4,500, maybe do a steep turn left, steep turn right. And then do a final stall, possibly into a spin. And pee ourselves as the aeroplane hunkers straight down into the ground at idle power, and hopefully pull out without breaking the wing spar. It's a simulator, we can do that. So I'll probably do a clearing turn to the left. We want to obviously turn into the left. Stay away from the hills, but kind of head into that little bit of the valley there, since there's no cloud around it. Once we've recovered from our second stall, we'll probably get back down to 2,500 and then fly down that coastline. Or we could, yeah, hammer into the ground and finish the entire tour. Sorry, the pilot was involved in a major accident, can't fly anymore. Well, there's 4,500. I'm happy with that kind of altitude. We've been climbing at 18 knots, which is cruise climb. Traffic Proserpine Uniform Foxtrot Alpha is 5 miles north of Lakeside, doing air work, 4,500. For the next 10 minutes, we'll call when complete. Uniform Foxtrot Alpha. Alrighty, so there's two versions of the stall. There's the usual power off stall where you go to almost idle power and just maintain altitude. So we're going to set at 4,500 feet. Nothing on the throttle. I'll just give it a little bit of carby heat and set it about 1,200 RPM. And you just need to pull back further and further on the yoke to maintain altitude. And at some point, the aeroplane will refuse to continue flying. One of the good mates fly the real Uniform Foxtrot Alpha. That's pretty cool. There's our stall horn. There goes any kind of authority of the elevator, and the aeroplane just drops away. Easy. It's all easy if you don't continue pulling back and don't use your rudder. Okay, gonna go to full power, get up to about 80 knots, and get ourselves back up to 4,005. About 500 foot a minute climb. Need to trim out a little. So where does your friend fly Uniform Foxtrot Alpha? What city? So I was doing some research and I couldn't quite remember where it was based. I'm sure it's not up here in Mackay. Imagine flying it all the way around Australia. Anyway, we're going to do a couple of steep turns. One off to the left first. I do actually want to fly towards that valley. So I'll make the clearing turn off to the left. One good thing about the Tomahawk, you've got amazing visibility all around, so that's a good thing. Alright, clearing turn's good off to the left, now I'll do the right side. Right side's good. I'm aiming right at that. It's about 27260. Starting turn. And we pull. Backs into it. Oh, right there it is. 2 Gs. Beautiful. Yeah. Ever had that moment when you run into your own wake turbulence? It just goes thump. Love that. And we'll unwind the turn going the other direction. Clearing. No one's below us. Good stuff. And that side. No one's below us. Good stuff. 9 AM in the morning in good old France. Francais. How are you? Put in a little. Name the rudder. There's the rudder. Need to pull up a bit more. There it is. Maintaining the altitude as we go around. More rudder. And there we are. Turns well. Turns well indeed. I'm going to turn southbound again just to keep us out of those hills. And this time we do the really annoying stall. Power on stall. So this time we're not going to idle power, we're going to about 18, at least 18, yeah, it's 19. And with that we start a climb. for about 1,000. There's 60 knots. There's the end of the white arc. There's the horn. And of course it wants to spin. And of course the reason it wants to spin is because you've got this massive propeller that's producing power and going over the top there. Do it at even higher power. Go to max. Full power. On the climb. There she goes. Bit of rudder. That's always a bad idea. Yep. Power off. Sink rate. And I think we'll do one more power off stall and make our way down to 2,500. That's one way to lose 1,000 feet. Power stall, carbo heat's on. There's 4,000. There's the end of the white. Much more benign. Just keep it in the stall as we go down. 3,000. And we'll start the recovery process now. Drop the nose, add some power. See, it wants to spin out of that when the power's added. And there's 2,500. Traffic Lakeside, Uniform Foxtrot Alpha has completed air work to the north of the field. We'll be tracking to Proserpine, Uniform Foxtrot Alpha. Wasn't too bad. Really feel it want to enter the spin with the power on. Like even with the power off, it was just coming straight down like a leaf on the wind, as it were. And then yeah, tuck in some power and it just wants to spin off. Some of those power on stalls are a little bit different to the power off stall. It is useful to see the difference. Anyhow, we're back to heading, that says east. What's our actual compass saying? 3, yep, cool. So we're going to just stay outside of Proserpine's 10 mile. That way we don't need to talk to the CTAP too much. Oh, we're inside of it already. Never mind. Traffic Proserpine, Uniform Foxtrot Alpha is about 5 miles to the south of the field. We'll be tracking directly over Proserpine and then tracking out to Cow Island. Traffic Proserpine. And we are at 3,000 feet, descending 2,500. There's the runway. We're in the right place. The circuit will be going that direction and be at 1,500. 1,000 actually. Just be cookie. Hopefully we'll be back very soon because I think I'll be landing in about 20 minutes from now. If everything is to my plan. My plan is to finish this stream in 30 minutes. At least be parked and landed and shut down and stuff. Anyway, we're flying over Proserpine. This airfield actually does get Jetstar A320s in there. So it's a CTAF, there's no controlled airspace, tiny little terminal, bunch of Cessnas and stuff, and the odd A320. And Saab SF340. Traffic Proserpine, Uniform Foxtrot Alpha is overhead the field 2500, tracking direct to Cow Island. Kick says Israel, how you doing? If you have just joined us, you did miss some stalls and steep turns. And we only faced the ground directly once. And that was kind of intentional, almost intentional. Like, yeah, let's continue holding this stall all the way through 2,000 feet until it spins. At the moment, those Jetstar A320s will be on strike this weekend. Not flying anywhere at all. Alright, the good thing about this is we don't need to go anywhere near that cloud. What we can do instead is turn outbound towards Hamilton Island. I spoke too soon, we are near the cloud. Let's get back away from that cloud. Okay, we kind of want to track the coastline and then continue straight through. So 1,500 should be good enough for us. We'll be having to head that way. I don't know if it applies for New Zealand, to be honest. I know it applies for all of Australia. So if you're flying from Australia to New Zealand, you might want to check. I believe it's from Friday the 13th all the way through to the end of the weekend. So it's essentially just a 3-day strike. But yeah, if you're flying on Jetstar this weekend, just make sure that you're actually, you know, flying this weekend. And not catching a bus or sitting in a terminal for hours. Because I'd rather you be on an Airbus, not a road bus. Right, going to enrich in the mixture a little bit. We are descending down to 1,500 now. Going to keep the RPM sitting about the 24 and a half range. There it is. I want to get below the cloud, but we want to, you know, be above those hills, which are relatively high. But looking at this, there might be hills in the clouds, so good luck with that. Good luck with that. So we've passed Proserpine, we're tricking out towards Wilson Beach, and we absolutely need to get lower than we are. Mount Proserpine is 1,500, which is the altitude we're going to be at, so we want to stay south of the coastline. We need to cross Cow Island. The good thing is Cow Island's highest point, I believe, is 1,000 feet and 1,300 feet, so we need to be above 13, 14, 15, 18. Yeah, 1,800 at that point. Although we'll see how we can thread through. Might need to go a little bit further north over that 1,000 foot area. We'll maintain 500 feet above, and then we'll be out in the ocean. Hampton Island's highest point is 755, so that shouldn't be a problem there. So we'll just continue along the coastline here. Now we did bring our inflatable life jackets. That is a requirement if you fly over the sea more than gliding range. So if you're at 500 feet like on Victor 1, you actually need the inflatable life jacket. Not a raft, just a jacket. And it does have to be inflatable, which is to say you can't have one of those like boat ones that are always buoyant. The reason is if you crash this aeroplane into the sea, you don't want to be pinned to the roof. Pleasant thought. If you crash the aeroplane into the sea. Yeah. Anyhow, the aeroplane's been flying over land very well for the last nearly an hour. Not quite an hour, but you know, clearly the engine's working, clearly the kind of fuel that we have is correct. There's no water or jet fuel in there. So all good. So what we're going to do here is going to fly just offshore, and then we're going to turn sharp to the left, go around that hill. There's a little bit of a dip in the hill on this side, so we'll go over that, then turn up towards Hampton Island. If only that cloud was higher, but it seems to be sitting at about 2,500. So we do need to be at 2,000 or below, and that hill there is 1,800 feet high, so we need to be at 2,100 or above, which means that we have to be 100 feet below our highest altitude, or 1,000 feet above our lowest altitude. Highest altitude, yeah. But we're sitting at 2,000, everything's just about right. We can't go inland, can't fly over that. Yeah, it's a little bit of turbulence, nothing major. I'm going to sit at about 1,900, somewhere between, yeah, it's about 1,870 is the minimum altitude over that hill. I'm just going to sit here at 19. Eva Air 777s, eh? Better than being grounded. Those Rolls-Royce engines aren't coming out for particularly well, are they, Geeksers? It's time to get some American stuff. Throw away the old vestige of the Empire. Turbulence is a little bit annoying. That's obviously being generated by those hills. So I think we're down. Yeah, we are downwind of those hills. So just getting a little bit of rotary turbulence coming off them. Not huge amounts of turbulence. It's just, you know, perfectly annoying. Kix is flying with Virgin Australia in January. I'll be flying on Qantas January 1. On board their Boeing 747. It's been so long since I've been on a 747 airborne. Last time I was on board a 747 for real was in the 1980s. Just to give you a bit of a heads up since. So yeah, long ago. More than 30 years ago. I'm trying to make a vlog, but I don't want to be obnoxious with all the other people around, you know. If it was like, if I had a proper window seat that had a window, then I'd probably be great, but I'll see what I can do. Hopefully the guys that are sitting on my row are good, upstanding airplane spotter geeks, in which case we'll all have our cameras out. Aussie Aircraft 98, how you doing? We're trying to get over these mountains. We're getting slammed around by ever-increasing amounts of turbulence. It's getting annoying. And I can see some open water and Hamilton Island out over there. We lost like 10 knots in a second. That was really interesting. We're currently sitting at about 100 and... I was about to say 110 knots, but then we lost 10. 100 knots. Yeah, the Piper 38 is pretty fun. Didn't kill us while we stalled it, so happy with that. 2000 built something right there. And we can probably tune into the I'll swap over to that for a moment. Onto the CTAF. CTAF 127.85. Traffic, Hamilton Island, uniform Foxtrot Alpha is a Piper Tomahawk. We are positioned just outside of controlled airspace, 5 miles to the west of Hamilton Island at 1,900, descending at 1,500 to enter downwind of runway 14, Hamilton Island traffic. Casey Nicholton, how you doing? I said we're descending, we probably want to start doing that. That's the field over here. We will fly the full circuit, so we'll start descending into the dead side and then continue that descent on downwind. Hamilton Island is a CTAF at the moment, so no tower. And we're just about to enter what would normally be the control zone. Yeah, I'll do an A330 when I finally buy the thing in a week from now. So we'll have to do one milk run Monday without it. And the milk run one day after that is the 23rd. Yeah, we'll get it in by the 23rd. Indeed, you didn't miss the landing. We're almost overhead the airfield now. We'll track overhead, pop into a left turn, and land on runway 14. So 620 foot hill over there, so we can descend down to 1006. That will stay here at 2,000 feet, 1,000 feet above circuit altitude. Till we're on the downwind essentially. Hamilton Island traffic, uniform Foxtrot Alpha, 2,000 feet, entering the zone. Tracking from the west directly overhead the field and turning a left downwind runway 14. Traffic, Hamilton Island. Turbulence as we enter the downwind lee wind of the island here. Alright, fuel pump is in. Left tank on, wait 5 or 6 seconds, pump is off. Actually, we're going to leave the pump on, we're about to wait to the downwind anyway. Let's do the checklist. Brakes are released, undercarriage is fixed, mixture is fully rich. Fuel is set to the best tank, pump is on, instruments shown 1010. And checklist complete. Seats and harnesses are secure. Yes, look at old Jetstar cancelling your flight. That never goes down well. Well, should have booked on Tiger. Or Virgin. Virgin's a bit good. Virgin and Tiger are essentially the same thing now. Ah, look at that. Beautiful marina. Hamilton Island. There's the runway. Going past the island a little bit on descent. And start turning. Traffic, Hamilton Island, uniform Foxtrot Alpha, turning downwind runway 14, descending out of 1,500 to 1,000 feet. Traffic, Hamilton Island. There we are. Mad the girls, how you doing? Go to the downwind call. There's 1,000. Looks good to me. Traffic Hamilton Island, Uniform Foxtrot Alpha, turning base, runway 14. It's looking good there. Let's grab a bit of flap. Position 1 set. I also can't wait to get the A330 next week. Is when I'll be getting it. Thursday next week. Traffic Hamilton Island, Uniform Foxtrot Alpha, final runway 14. Now, sun is setting. And a little dark. A little bit more flap. Keep the speed 165. Full flap. 65 knots. Leave it there. The quality wings is alright. It's okay if you want a 787. It's not the best aeroplane I've ever seen. Which would be the FS Labs A320 now. FS Labs is the best. And the Dash 8 is probably the second best, then the PMDGs after those. Let's be honest, the Mad Dog MD80 is possibly better than the PMDG offerings at the moment. Possibly. They're pretty much equal. Okay, we're continuing in. Bit of crosswind there. We could actually vacate here. Good stuff. Short field stuff. Traffic, Hamilton Island, host, Uniform Foxtrot Alpha vacated. Runway 14. But yeah, my opinion of the Quality Wing 787 is, it's middling. Not as good as PMDG, but that's not bad. Better than some other things I've seen. Better than anything Carinado's have ever made in their lives. Damning with faint praise. And there we are. Okay, parking brake is set. 1000 RPM. Let's get these off. And it's shutdown time. Listen to this carefully. How cool is that noise? That's the gyroscope inside the heading, the attitude indicator spinning down. Very good. Open the door. Aerosim? Yeah, don't buy that. Alright, for a 787, the quality wings is the best option that you have. For aircraft in general, it's not. But yeah, if you want a 787, certainly. Okay then, I'm going to tie the aeroplane down, or whatever you do with it. Sorry about the parking job. I guess we should have been over there, really. Yeah. Let's push it back over there. Did I push it in the right direction? Of course not. No. Darn it. Drag it forward now. Come on, start turning. Yes, this thing does need a bit of wash, doesn't it? It also needs to be able to turn. So let's do that. That is more like it. Alrighty then. That's chucking all of the tie downs and all that kind of stuff. There we go. Bling! Cool. So that was Uniform Foxtrot Alpha, Piper, Tomahawk, and this here is Hamilton Island. Now I said that I would finish this video roughly at 8:30. Guess what the time is? The time is 8:31. So it's 1 minute late. Given that is the time, I'd say that that was pretty successful, getting an hour flight in the Tomahawk. We'll fuel the plane up here in Hamilton Island, and next week, possibly on Wednesday, we'll be flying it up to Townsville. Of course, before that we have Fly and See Santa on Sunday, Cross the Ditch, and the Milk on Monday. So until we see you on the Sunday at 4 in the morning of my time, I will bid you adieu. Thanks for flying, and I hope you have a great night. Ciao for now.